Hey guys, how you guys doing? Today, I just want to be talking about the Samsung Note 5. I've had this phone for I'm gonna say I've had this phone for about 5 months now. Originally, I had a Note 4 and I had issues with that. I traded that in and they sent me a brand new Note 5. Uh, and and I've had this phone for about 5 months. I'm gonna do a review on it. Uh, overall, if overall this phone is really well built. If you look at this phone, I have an LG Stylo um, as well, and that's supposed to be like a clone of the Note 4, Note 5, and that one was really it feels kind of cheap when you hold it, but this phone right here, feels really solid. It's well built. Glass screen, glass back, uh, fingerprint reader and home button right here, power button right here, the volume rocker button, SIM card slot. On the bottom, you have the headphone jack, USB, uh, and the stylus. I don't have too many complaints about this phone, but it's like a $700 phone when you buy it off of T-Mobile or get it on installments. So I shouldn't really have any complaints about this phone. It's one of the most expensive phones when it came out. Um, if I have any issues at all, it's the battery life on this phone. The battery life on this phone is pretty crappy. The battery drains at a ridiculously, well, I wouldn't say ridiculous, but it drains a lot faster than the previous phones that I've had. And I find myself always needing to plug into my extended battery to charge it up whenever I'm using it. But um, aside from that, if I had any other issue, it would be the 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 gigs memory. I They sent me a 32 gig phone, and since I've been doing YouTube videos, I've been using that up quite a bit. Um, I keep on getting messages that I'm low on space and stuff like that, and it's kind of annoying. I wish that this phone actually had an micro SD slot so that I could put an SD memory card in, so that I could use that space. But that's not available. But I don't think that's a big issue if you guys aren't doing a ridiculous amount of videos and stuff like that. I mean, 32 gigs. I guess depending on like how many pictures and how much you're saving on your phone, that may or may not be a huge issue with you. So the two issues that I have with this phone is the battery and the memory. Aside from that, I really don't have too many complaints about it. It's the right size. I think it's 5.7 inches as far as the screen is concerned. It's the right size. Uh, the um, the screen is really nice. Watching videos is awesome. Internet speed is awesome. GPS is awesome, and GPS is one of the things that I one of the things that I've had issues with previous phone of it not locating you and stuff like that, and it dropping off quite a bit. But I have had no issues with this phone. Um, so no issues with that. Uh, only only thing I like to add as far as issues is the sound. For whatever reason, the sound quality is awesome, but Samsung has it a lower setting than most, I would be watching a video and I would be pumping that volume all the way up. And, I'd be driving my car and have video on playing, and I would have a hard time hearing songs or whatever is playing. So that's my other um, issue that I had with this phone. But other than that, I really couldn't complain about it. But the battery life really is a drawback on this phone. It consumes a ton of battery. Um, if you guys know of like a better phone, and if you guys are saying, well, that's probably because um, you might have issues with internal issues, as far as hardware issues, or some apps are eating up your phone. I have no LG stylo, and all the apps that I have on this phone or on that phone, I use it pretty much the same way. And that phone, the battery on that phone lasts me quite a long time. Battery on this phone uh, um, dies pretty quick. And this is actually the second Note 5 that I've had. The original Note 5, I actually this is a replacement for when I had issues with the screen, but the battery on that phone was pretty awful too. I mean, it would drain like crazy. Sometimes it wouldn't charge, or when it does charge, or when it did charge, it charged up really slow. I haven't had the slow charge on issue on this phone, but still, they could have done better with the battery. As far as recommending this phone is concerned, this is a $700 phone. It's a $700 phone, and if I had to spend that much money on a phone, it should be near perfect. And this phone isn't. I mean, it's pretty good for what it does, but it's not. I don't think I would spend $700 on this phone, knowing the kind of phones that are out there. There's a lot more phones that are out there, and I mean, this phone is a lot better than my stylo, my LG stylo. As far as speed is concerned, it is super fast. The internet is fast. No issues as far as the browser is concerned, apps, any of that stuff. It's a really fast phone. But if I had to spend $700 on a phone, I probably would shop around. I do like this phone a lot better than my stylo, my LG Stylo Plus. But to be honest with you, this is $700. The Stylo um, Plus is $100. Do you guys, so this is like a huge difference.